Welcome back to the Anthony Lee Crypto channel. We are live. How is everyone? It is, I don't even know what today is. What is today? Sunday. I've been all out of sorts. We have been out of town this weekend, but we are back now and we are in business, ready to rock. Bitcoin kind of doing a whole lot of nothing. Got the big WAR going on, IRAN. Dropping some BOMBS over there. Yeah, I got a little initial reaction from all of that. Got some news about somebody being terminated over there, exterminated, whatever you want to call it. I got a little reaction from that also, but ultimately, a whole lot of nothing. Bitcoin still just trading in this symmetrical range. I mean, literally, got the news. I'm on the daily time frame, and you came down and bounced to the dang penny on this symmetrical triangle, and where did you bounce to? Right up to the dang top of it. So really nothing. I mean, if you were just looking at this chart, you wouldn't even be able to tell that any bombs dropped, right? Seriously. So whole lot of nothing going on. Let's see who is here today. I know we got a little bit of light crew. It's Sunday morning. Everybody's probably snoozing. Max, what's up, bro? Jane in the house. Eons, behave. What's up, bro? What's up, man? Glad you're here. So a whole lot of nothing going on today. We do have a poll in chat. If you want to hit up the poll, we would appreciate it. Curious to see what your thoughts are on that. We are trading on KCEX trading.com, KCEX trading.com. I'm also trading on MEXC, MEXC.us. Let me flash that banner for you guys. Boom, there it is. Up at the top, visit those sites directly. You don't even have to use my affiliate link. Just go directly to those sites. Did a little bit of trading this weekend with the crew in the VIP Discord. If you want to check out the VIP Discord, go to Flashbang, go to AnthonyLeeTrading.com. You can check out VIP Discord, offer there, one-on-one mentorship, affiliate links, info, testimonials, all that good stuff. So go check it out. Look at me with the pink shirt and the tie, looking all like I never look. So go check it out, guys. Go check it out, AnthonyLeeCrypto.com. All right, we're going to dive right in. Hawkborn, what's up, man? Happy Sunday. John the Ma. Got that little shield there. I like the wrench. There's got to be a thing in your, or did I do that? There's got to be a thing there in your settings that gives you the wrench or the shield. I have no idea. That's worth Googling. I might should look that up. I like the wrench. The wrench looks cool. I mean, shield's pretty cool, too. I think people know what the wrench is, though. Let me see. Go and hit up the poll if you guys are just joining us. Let me know what you think. We're going to dive in. Just a couple more minutes here, guys. Couple of more minutes. We did go, let's look at Discord real quick. We did give a couple of altcoin trades over the weekend. We're going to go into some altcoins. If you want to see your altcoin today, go ahead and throw... yeah, John, I still see the shield too. I'd like to see the wrench. I don't care. It's your shield or wrench. Whatever you want. I'm just saying that the wrench is cool. Like, maybe everybody knows what the shield means, but I didn't. But I know what a wrench means. Anyway, we gave some altcoin trades this week. We made pretty good money on the altcoins. I actually tried to get in one this morning. I literally tried to get in one. I can show you. I still have my order at $15.12. Price came down like $15.20. I've had this in all morning. I was looking for this target. Fetch AI, and let me drop down. We're going to come back to this chart. I got to show you guys something. We came down here, and this is like a I'm on a 6-minute chart. It's actually a 6-minute candle. Came down here to 15.23, and just boom, popped right up to 15.73. I was like, gosh, dog, how big of a move is that? 3%. 3%. I can't even do the math. 3%. I had a $70,000 order times .03. I would have sold instantly. Could have picked up $2,000 in like 6 minutes. Oh well, there will be more. But I was all over this sucker right here. I mean, I was all over it. Right here, I was all over it. Missed it. Oh well. We'll come back to this though. We got to go over some stuff. All right, guys, hit up the poll. Hit up AnthonyLeeCrypto.com, KCEX MEXC and let's dive right in. So, like we talked about, if you were looking at this chart right here, this is Bitcoin on the daily. You literally can't even tell that we went to WAR and dropped some BOMBS. I mean, this just looks like standard price action, just bouncing, literally just bouncing the symmetrical triangle. So, nothing here indicates any drama going on in the world. However, it is weekend, and the traditional markets are not open yet. Some of the markets will start opening this evening, like an important one to watch that will open in just a little bit. Let's see. Is going to be crude oil. This is set to open in 7 hours. So, what time is that? 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. This will be an interesting to watch, the oil chart, when it opens up, because, you know, they say the Strait of Hormuz is closed over there, which can make it very difficult for import-export, specifically export of oil, probably most importantly. So it'll be interesting to watch this chart as it opens. I do think, I'm not even going to look at the poll yet. We're going to let a few more people come in here, but I do think Bitcoin breaks out this week. I'm not sure if it breaks out to the upside or downside. We're going to dive into that in a minute. However, I expect major volatility this week. First of all, we got the news over the weekend, so when traditional markets do open up, you're going to see major volatility from that. Second of all, I think we're going to have developments on that every single day. You know, if other countries get involved, if China gets involved, which I don't think they want any part of this as far as the WAR goes. I got to watch the word because you get censored here on the old YouTube. But I don't think they want to get involved there. However, it could get a little nasty with trade and things like that, and diplomacy and threats of this and threats of that. And either way, maybe some tariffs, maybe some this. I don't know, but I just know these things tend to get kind of I don't want to say high schoolish, you know, but it gets to be kind of like a pissing contest. And each of those threats, each of those little chess pieces, they have an impact on the market. So I expect some significant volatility to both sides for price this week. I do think we break out of this triangle. I think gun to my head, I would say we break down out of this triangle. However, we still have not deviated really from the fractal, which says that this is how it's supposed to look, and then we go bing, bing like that with a fake out to the upside and then a move to the downside. I don't know. I can't even call it. I mean, look, guys, at the end of the day, you know, I say this all the time. You don't have to know what's going to happen. Here is the value area high. Here's the value area low. We're literally stuck in the middle at the point of control. We're stuck in the middle of the range. It could go either way. However, we are under point of control. As long as you're under point of control, the bias is to the downside, okay? Always remember that. As long as you're under point of control, the bias is to the downside. Here's one reason, another reason I think we're likely to break to the downside here. We have, let's see, this is our value area high. Let me make that a little bigger. Well, you don't got to see that. You see the shaded red line, right? Shaded red line. Since the big initial drop to the downside, if you even get, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Well, we'll count them as two separate. You've had, well, let's count them as three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches into the red zone. Okay, that is our zone of resistance. You've had 8 touches in there, and only one, the initial touch into the green. Okay, so you've had 8 touches in here, been unable to break through. In fact, each time you get weaker and weaker and weaker, and that just tells me we're most likely to rotate down to here and grab some of this liquidity. Okay, even though liquidity from short trades have been building up right here, there's just not enough strength to push you through this zone right here of resistance. And in fact, each time it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So given that you've had 8 opportunities, 8 opportunities. That is the ugliest 8 I've ever seen. You've had 8 opportunities to break through that zone of resistance. 8. You've really had no opportunity. 1, the very first drop, opportunity to break through the bottom. Only 1. It just looks like buyers are getting exhausted up here. Even though you could, if you can get above this first week, you could definitely get a short squeeze up to here really quickly, okay? You could definitely get a short squeeze up here very, very quickly if you can get over this first wick, okay? If you can't, this looks like buyer exhaustion. Sellers are going to get a chance to step in and give the buyers another chance down here, okay? So if you had a gun to my head, I do think we probably break on down here, okay? At least to here, okay? We at least take this wick, come into this area, if not to our lower targets, okay, guys? We have other supporting evidence for that too, but I mean, I'm the main guy that's been like, hey, this fractal is still intact. What fractal am I talking about? This fractal right here. This blue fractal is the fractal from the 2022 cycle, and we're going to take a look at that in a minute. It is still very much intact. Nothing here is broken. We did this green candle. If this green candle is to be, if this green candle right here is meant to be this candle, right? It just didn't come as high this time as it did last time. It didn't come sweep these. So other than that, it looks exact. The only real difference I can see is that that candle did not come as high as it did in the last cycle, okay? And then it just kind of rolled over and kind of started heading on down. So this just looks like probably what we're going to get, guys, if I had to guess. I could drop it underneath so you can see here. Kind of something just like that. Like even whenever you got the break here, I'm drawing on the blue. Even when you got the break, which would be like here, but you didn't break, but the big move up, right? After you swept the low, you got the big move up, and then you came down, then you bounced back up. Just like here, you came down, you bounced back up, made a lower high, and then you just rolled on over, guys. I just kind of think that's what we're going to do. And if we look back to 2018, that's what we did that time too. In 2022, we swept the high. In 2018, we did not. So even though this fractal looks more like this than the 2018 fractal, I just don't see it, guys. I just don't see it at this point. And I was the main one calling for 72.2. I was the main one calling for this, okay? And again, you've had 8 opportunities, several there, couple there, more there, right here, to break through this red zone, and you just haven't been able to. And each time you're getting less deep into it. In fact, you barely made it into it this time. You didn't make it into it here. That just means buyer exhaustion, okay? You've only had one crack at the bottom, at the green. You've only had one shot at it. And I just think it's time to come give these buyers a chance to see if they can get some momentum going up, okay? That's my opinion. However, very, very volatile week coming with the news and everything, and we'll just see. And to be quite honest, it really wouldn't surprise me if you got both sides, regardless of which direction you went first. It wouldn't surprise me if everybody got wrecked, because there's going to be a lot of chess plays and a lot of counter chess plays this week. It's going to be pretty volatile when the market opens. All right. Oh, by the way, so symmetrical triangles, I did a little research on this today. We're in a symmetrical triangle, right? Symmetrical triangles break out or break down. Okay, we're just going to call it a breakout. Breakout to the top, breakout to the downside. Breakout, 90% of the time, they break out between 65 and 70% into them, okay? So we came into the triangle, started the triangle bottom here. Came all the way out to the end where these two would meet. That is 38 days. 38 days. Let's remember that, okay? 38 days, okay? How far are we now? We're on day 23. Oops. That is not what I wanted. We're on day 23. So 23 divided by 38. We are 60%, okay? We're 60% into this triangle, okay? The stat is 91%, almost 92%. 92% of the time, Let me put this down here for you visual. 92% of the time, symmetrical triangles break 65 to 70% in. We are at 60%. Okay? What would 70% be? Okay? 70% of 38 days times .7. That's going to be 26 days. We're on 23. So we're looking for 3 to 4 days from now, 26.6 days. So between 26 and 27 days, we should break this. So this week, we have a 92% chance of breaking this triangle this week by Thursday. Okay? 92% according to complete Bitcoin historical data on symmetrical triangle breakouts. Okay? 92% that we break out by Thursday. The stat also said that if it goes beyond that 75%, that 87% of the time, if it goes beyond 75%, that 87% of those are fake outs. Okay, so if we do, what that means, guys, if we do go beyond this week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if we go beyond right here, then there's an 87% chance that we fake out, regardless of the direction that it breaks out to, okay? 87%. I know it's a lot of percentage, a lot of numbers, a lot of stats. Who knows? Who knows? Either way, I would look for a fake out. Whether it's this, or whether it's this. These just tend to build up liquidity on both sides. Liquidity's building. Grab the liquidity, create some divergence, move back up, and vice versa. Okay, that's just typically the way it is. Liquidity grabs. Gun to my head right now, though, I think we rotate down. So depending on where price closes, or in the next few hours where price is, we should have a CME gap down here, as of now anyway. About 65.5 will be a CME gap down here. You know, we're not too far from that now. We're about $1,000 from now. So CME gap could pull you down a little bit here. Crude oil opens in 7 hours. We'll see where that opens up. All right, let's go take a look at something. Here's our fractal. Let me refresh this. I want to show you something on I've been doing all kinds of data today, guys. All right, so this is the area that I took that fractal from, right? The blue fractal over this area I took it from, okay? Threw a fib on this. Oops. Sorry, guys. I feel like I'm all out of sorts. Threw a fib on this. So we've talked about this before. Like when you have a fib, right? Like right here. You know, you set a low, came back up, set a high. This is what I put the fib on from. You came to the 0.5, held the 0.5, and bounced. That took out the high, right? That took out the high from the bounce, right? The more shallow the pullback, Carry Bins, what's up, bro? The more shallow the pullback, usually the stronger the bounce. Okay, remember that. The more shallow the pullback, like if you pull back to the 382 only and bounce, that's very strong. If you come down to the 786 or the golden pocket, that is usually, not always, but usually, especially in this area that we are now, that is weaker, okay? So in the last cycle, you pull back to 0.5, then bounce. That means you were strong enough to take out this high. Let's go to today. Okay, similar area, fractals line up. However, when we came down, set this low, then came and bounced to set the high, I threw the fib on there, and on this pullback, not the 0.5, we came all the way to the 786, which means usually weaker bounce, right? Sellers were strong, buyers were too weak, they couldn't hold up at the 0.5, so the bounce you got was not enough to take out the high. That is not good for our theory that we're going to come swoop the high and completely follow this fractal. I do think we followed the fractal. I think we followed the fractal to a dang T. I just don't think we get the strength and the bounce that you got in this exact same spot in the last cycle. You just didn't get the strength in it. Your pullback was much deeper. As you can see, the pullback on the blue fractal stopped here at the 0.5, right? Stopped right here and moved up, and we came all the way down to the 786 and couldn't get the momentum to go up there. So I think it's rotate down time, guys. And I wasn't saying that last week. You know that. However, that being said, until this low that we set a few days ago, this low right here, until that's broken, this fractal is still in play. See, we set the low, another low, another low. It wasn't until you broke this low again that the breakdown occurred. So when we came back a couple days yesterday, we did not break the low. So as long as we don't break this low, if we break that low, it's over with, okay? I cancel this out this is canceled if we break this low right here, okay? So until we break that, I'm just going to say it's looking less and less likely that we come to that 72.2, okay? And I was the main one calling for it. I wanted it. I believed in this fractal. It's just not looking good, guys, and I would love to be wrong here. Let's look at something else. So here I have all three cycles compared. Okay, and we've been looking at this chart for a long time. We usually look at it at two different time frames, two different areas. Now we got all three on here, the last three cycles, 2018, 2022, and current cycle. Now, we're counting the number of days to the bottom from the bear leg cross, what I'm calling the bear leg cross, which is this month. Even though I'm on the daily time frame, these EMAs are on the monthly. This is the monthly 5 in white. The monthly 13 is orange, and the monthly 55. So all these are monthly. But what I'm looking for are the number of days from the cross to the actual bottom. Okay, in 2018, it was 48 days. 2022, it was 40 days. With an asterisk that later in the year, we did get an FTX debacle that came and took out the low right here. That was FTX, just scandal, scandal, scandal. Short of that, aside from that, the bottom was 40 days after the cross, okay? We are currently on day 40. Okay, so 48 days, 40 days, and currently on day 40 right here, okay? Let me erase that fib. So we're looking for a breakout of this triangle really to the downside any freaking minute now. Could this go on? Yeah, this could go on for another 6 months. I have no idea. But historically, we're right there in that any day now time window where we would expect this thing to break down. Okay, so in 2018, here's what I was talking about a minute ago. 2018, you came down to monthly 55. You got the big bounce, just like here it is. Sorry, I was scrolled over a little too far on 2022. Just like you did here, you came down. You front ran it, but you came down to it essentially. Got the big bounce, chopped around. Same thing here, came down to it, got the big bounce, chopped around, and then broke down. You did not take the high. Okay, you didn't take the high. Boom. You just went straight down. Here you got the bounce, chopped around, then took the high, then down. Okay, so you've had it work both ways. Here you set the low, got the bounce, chopped around, and thus far we've not taken the high. The fractal looks most like this. But this bounce came up short. So is this going to play out like 2018 and just roll down? Or do we hit that one more little bounce before down? You know this entire time. Even before we got to this area, I've been calling for this bounce to take the high. I no longer think we get that bounce. I don't think we do. I think we're headed down. I think it's going to play out like 2018. We're going to head down. Okay, the good news, that's really a good thing. And let me tell you why. So if it's going to play more similarly to that, let me show you what I like about it. And I've been saying I think this happens too, and I can show you. I have this saved from like a couple months ago. But when you got this bounce, I'm talking at 2018 here, okay? When you got the breakdown, first of all, you got the first breakdown, then the initial bounce. You kind of set a range in here, right? You just kind of set a range here, and then you broke that range. Well, as soon as you broke the range, took out the low, you came right back to that range, and you chopped around in there for months, okay? Well, in 2022, you got the low, you bounced around. When you broke that, you didn't come back to the range. You did not come back to this range, okay? You did not come back here. you stayed, I don't know, I have a white line on here. Let me take that off. You stayed down low and chopped around this area for months and months and months, right? We have a current range here. I know that's rough. It's the current range. This is a range, and I'll show you, but this is a range we spent 6-7 months in a year and a half ago. I really think you bounce back to this range about like 2018, where you bounced back to it here. I think we bounce back to this range versus forming something down low. So that's the good thing about this, which means it shows strength. When you're down here, what's the problem with being down there, guys? Yeah, you get cheaper Bitcoin. What's the problem with being here, though? Somebody's got to know. The problem with being here is you run the risk of going there, okay? The better part about coming back up here, if you get weak, you just go back to here. Less chance you go here, okay? So you don't want to hang out in this low area, okay? We've shown this where the support and resistance down below is, and it is a big drop if you start losing this 48K area, okay? You could head down to the 30s. Don't think it can't happen. So we want to bounce back to the current area that we're in. We do not want to form a range here, okay? Do not want to do it, in my opinion. I don't want to do it. You might want to do it. I don't want to do it. Plus, if we're looking at our range, just go to like the weekly. If we're looking at this big range, you can see the shaded red and green boxes. Sorry about that, guys. You can see the big shaded red and green boxes. We spent a lot of time in this area back in early 2024 for about 6-7 months. Spent a lot of time here. This is very predictable, okay? This is very predictable. Not saying it's exact, but we pretty much know the support and resistances. I mean, we're there now. We're trading the heck out of it. But if you fall below, first of all, there's nothing here. So if you fall below, you have this little baby range that did not give you much support and resistance. So you're either going to come down into it, find support, and come back to this, or if you chop around here, because there's not much support and resistance, you're in an extreme danger of coming down to here, because there's nothing here. And this is going to put you down in the low 30s, if not upper 20s, and it absolutely can happen, guys. So I'm telling you right now, if you take nothing else from the stream, you do not want to come down into this area and stay here. We need to hope that this is like 2018 and we quick wick down it and then pop right back to the range that we're in now. Okay? And that's what I think is going to happen. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. There's just a lot of support here. I don't think we just lose this quickly. I mean, we could quick wick it just like in this candle, but ultimately you got sucked right back up into it, right? So this is exactly what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to come take this wick right here. You might come down to these levels on a worst case scenario. You might come down there and take that. I don't know if you even do that. But I definitely think we get down here to 48 to 50K. 48 to 52K, let's call it that. Behave says they're going to pump and dump this at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when Trump starts speaking live. It's certainly possible. Who knows? Who knows? I'm way more interested. Yeah, Trump could pump and dump, and he probably will. Certain volatility, you're right. But I'm way more interested to see where oil opens up and what happens with that as soon as it opens at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, guys, let's take a look at the monthly stats. I show you this every single month, and we kind of briefly went over it on Thursday. Sorry I've been MIA, guys. I've been out of town. We're back. So these are our monthly stats. Get ready for the flash bang. We go over this every single month, and today is March 1st. I usually do it on the last day of the month, which I did on Thursday, but let's go over it again. Where are my stats? All right, flashbang. I think. Here we go. Okay, this is the month of March, right? Okay, let's take out this big 182%. It is an anomaly. It doesn't fit. And 36 doesn't really fit. Okay, so the average stats for March, we look for a wick high. This is a wick high of about 14% and a wick low of about 10%. It's 46% chance that you're going to finish positively. So basically a coin flip, whether you finish positive or negative. I showed this the other day. A lot of times we can glean great information, if nothing else, about the direction we're going to head, okay? Sometimes you can't. But in this particular case, I think we have a very clear trend here, okay? This is not always for every month, but in this particular month, we're not going to go through all these, but 100% of the time, 100% of the time, when you opened up the month to the downside, you finished positively, pretty strongly too, but you finished positively, okay? Meaning it was not a negative month when you opened to the downside. Meaning you had to move down, and all of this within the first week too. I moved down within the first week, and then it was up only the rest of the month, okay? Vice versa, 100% of the time when you opened the month to the upside, you set the high in the first week, and then it was down only, okay? And I have the percentages here. So regardless, depending on which way we open the month, and we just opened today, and I don't even count today because not yet, because markets aren't open. Even CME is closed right now. So really we're going to know probably tomorrow which direction the month is going to open, even though it'll be the second of the month, okay? Whichever way it opens, 100% of the time historically, and I know it doesn't always have to be 100, but so far, going back to 2012, so 14 years, it has never missed this particular trend of if we open to the upside, regardless of how high up we go, if we open to the upside, we have always finished to the downside, and vice versa. 100% of the time, if we open to the downside, we have always finished with a positive march, always. Okay, so statistically speaking, these are where we should go on wick, not closing basis, wick. Whether we go to the upside or downside first, we should go somewhere between 74 and 76K-ish. Okay, I just showed you the stats, the percentages. And to the downside, we should go somewhere between 58 and 56K. Okay, there are certainly months where you did not do as much, or you did more, to both sides. This is the average, okay? Personally, I kind of like the upside target. Maybe a little less. I would personally like the upside target somewhere about there. As high up as to about 76. And the downside target, yeah, I like that, but I also think you could go much lower. Probably even down to there. So I would put this more like the range if you were to ask me, whether you came down first or up first. I don't really care. I think you hit both of them. But the average are between the two boxes. And oh gosh, what is that? We're really good at this, guys. We're really good at this, okay? Let me show you in the past what we've gotten. I'm going to delete these lines. I should screenshot this, because I have my white lines on there. I want to come back and say that's where I told you we were going. Okay, let's look in the past. So we do this every month. Let's look at last month's stats. Boom. This was last month's stats. I put the arrows, at least the first arrow, I put at the very start. That was on January 31st. I drew this arrow. We did this video on January 31st, and I drew this line, so at the tip. So I said we would go to the red box. Okay, number of days doesn't matter. It's just an illustration of where we're going. And sure enough, look at that. 2 days later, we nailed the red box and then to the down. I also remember this. If you see this yellow line, okay, this yellow line right here, and I've told you guys this, and go watch the video January 31st if you don't believe me. This yellow line was an extension of the monthly 55 EMA. Statistically, February we should have gone here. It says we're going here. That was the average move to the downside. But I drew this line prior. This green line wasn't even here. Okay, the green line was over here because this is a monthly line. So the green line was stopped right there, right where that vertical line I just drew. I extended this line over, and I said, I think we go to this yellow line. Okay. So we nailed this. I mean, we absolutely freaking nailed this. Nailed this based on historical performance for Bitcoin, okay? All right, let's go back and look at that was February. Let's look at January. See how we did in January. Nailed it. Nailed it. We nailed it. We missed the downside target by 5 days, but we nailed it. Nailed it. I mean, came right up into it. Again, the arrow doesn't indicate how many days I thought we were going to take to get there. It's just me drawing a line to the target. And you can see we wicked right into that target, okay, right into the target. And then we came right down to the bottom side target. We just didn't get there in the month of January. We got there on February 5th. So missed it by 5 days. But this was put, look, this arrow starts on December 31st. Go back and watch the video, December 31st. I drew this on there, okay? So we are, and I put December stats, but I didn't draw lines in December for some reason. I just put the stats, and I did tell you in December that these were the stats. If we open up to the low side, 5 to 7%, and what did we do? I don't even remember. So we should open to the low side 5 to 7%. And here's December 1st. We went down 7.31%. And that's what I said. Low in the first week. The low was 5 to 7%. And the high should be somewhere near the 15th. And what did we get? They got the high on the 9th. Got the high on the 9th. Got the high on the 9th. So we missed the percentage. If high in the first week, I said 7%, 5 to 7%. We got high in the first week. We got on the 9th, and we got 4.68%. So we nailed the low at 7%. It was 7.61. The high, I said 5 to 7%. We got 4.68%. I said we'll open to the low and the high. I just didn't draw the boxes. But if I would have, we would have nailed those. I mean, absolutely nailed those. And that's not me being a genius. That is me. That is literally me just going back the entire history of Bitcoin, where's December, and getting the averages. That is it. That is all I did. I just got the historical averages, and then I noticed the trend. The trend being, do we open to the upside or do we open to the downside, or is there no trend there at all? Some months are just squirrely. Sometimes you open high, sometimes you open low. It doesn't mean anything. You can open high and keep going high. But these particular last few months have had a trend, okay? And we nailed the trend by determining which way we opened the month. We were able to tell where we were going percentage-wise historically. Does that make sense? Okay, so now that you see we've nailed the last 3 months, and I just started doing this in December. That was the first time we've ever done it. Let me put March back on. Here's what we expect in March. And I drew my lines to where I think they're going. Even though there are the stats historically, I like the white lines. I should make these yellow to match the yellow from last month when I drew the yellow line on there. I'm going to save these. Remember, what I'm telling you later, if we hit our lines, I'm going to say, remember I told you this is the lines we were going to. That's just my opinion. That is, the yellow lines are not historical percentage data. That is Anthony Lee prediction data. Historical data shows these boxes. Questions on these guys? This is good stuff. I'm telling you, these monthly percentages have given us macro outlooks, and I do these every single month. I love them. Questions on that? Drop your alts. Carrie Ben says we're headed into a full moon. Yeah, the full moon is Tuesday. It's full moon. Bull moon Tuesday. I would love to see this move down today and tomorrow. Boom. And then bull moon back up into here. That would be beautiful. I would love it. I'm ready to get back on this leverage trading. We've kind of been a little more altcoin trading than leverage, only because this is a recipe for Wreck City right here, because we are expecting any minute now. Whew, big move down. But we've been making bank on spot altcoin trades. I mean, absolute bank, guys. I posted this in Discord earlier. Let's go take a look at Fetch AI. Y'all know I'm all about Fetch. Check out the Fractal. I used to hate Fractal. I used to make fun of Fractal guys. I mean, I would talk. I'd go on their channel and talk trash to them. Yeah, I was that guy. I'd be like, that's all you got is fractals? Well, I'm really not a fractal guy, even though I've showed you a couple fractals. But some of these right now are so exact. And I'll tell you what the difference about what I'm doing, and I'm not boasting, versus what I see so many people doing fractals. They will go on. You got to watch them. They'll put fractals, like they'll show you an asset like Bitcoin on the daily, and they'll go find like an XRP fractal on the 1 hour time frame from like 6 years ago. They're like, look, it is exact. I'm like, first of all, it's not the same asset. Second of all, it's not the same time period in the cycle. And third of all, you're not even in the same time frame. So, but this is Fetch AI. So this is Fetch current price action, and this is Fetch. Both of these are on the daily. So my fractal is on the daily. My current time frame is on the daily. And this fractal is from the exact period in time where we were last cycle, this May, June-ish area with this big drop right here. This is right here. This is where our Bitcoin price action, this is the fractal, this is everything we're looking at. This was the area of the cycle that everything occurred last time, okay? So exact same bear cross, bear leg down area, same time, bounce from the monthly 50, whole night, everything, same area right here. And look at how freaking exact this Fetch is lining up, guys. I mean, it's undeniable. It is undeniable. I mean, I could just leave this here. There's nothing left to say about it. It's like, it's undeniable. Even to the point of, like, you know, you got this descending triangle, which is my favorite triangle. The ascending and descending triangles are really the only predictable triangles, in my opinion, even though they're not 100%. I mean, to the point of you came and wicked the bottom of it and then bounced back up into it before breaking it, which is just what we did yesterday. Wicked the bottom of it, so we would expect a few more days here before breaking it. I mean, undeniable. Does it have to play out this way? No, of course it doesn't. But when something is this, I'll call it exact. It's not even similar, it's exact. It's as close to exact as you're going to get. Then you would, in my opinion, you would be at a little disadvantage not to just pay attention to this, right? It's showing you how price previously acted and by the way, this is from the exact same price. Okay, this is when it was in the exact, look at this. Look at this. You see the it's kind of hard to see. I know it's small, but you see the gray dotted line right here? That's current price. That's current price. Here is our fractal right here. It is in the exact same. So we would be crazy. Number one, you're in the exact same area. This was the big drop a few weeks ago, and here we are. This is the exact same bear leg part of the cycle, and you're at the exact same price. So, yeah, it doesn't have to play out that way, but being that you're in the same time of the cycle and at the same price, in my opinion, you'd be crazy not to look at how it acted in this same area last time. Right? You'd be crazy not to look at that because it's doing the same thing when it was here at the same point in the cycle. And what happened? Boom, massive. I mean massive freaking drop. Now, here's where we differ. I don't think we come here. I don't think we come down, okay? This is where we differ on how I think this is going to play out. And here I am preaching about you'd be crazy not to pay attention. But just like with Bitcoin, I think this And the reason I don't think this plays out this way is because I don't think Bitcoin will either, and the alts will, of course, most of them will follow Bitcoin, even if not exactly. Bitcoin bounces, these typically bounce. So I think Bitcoin's going to fall through. It's going to hit that support that it did, and I think Bitcoin's coming back up to the range. Rather than forming the range down low like we discussed earlier, I think Bitcoin comes back here and forms the range. So I think alts do the same. So I don't think you get this bottom range on fetch necessarily. You certainly could. But I really like it more so to come down somewhere in here, bounce, and then form the range here where we are now. I could be wrong. We could form. I hope not, because my buy orders are going to be in here. Matter of fact, my buy order is at 1140, right there, exactly right there. Why 1140? Let's go back. I'm giving you my playbook, guys. Give you my playbook. Why 1140? We'll probably come lower. You got point of control down lower, but I think that every coin takes out the October 10th low. I think all of them will. And the low for fetch on October 10th was 1130. So my buy order is just a little bit higher than that. My big buy order. My big buy order. That could change. I could change that. So that is my target, guys. And where does that line up with the last cycle? 1140. Right there. Boom. So right at the top of this range. And I really, more than anything, I'm kind of hoping we come there and bounce, because if not, we're fixing to get sucked down into this range here, okay? And I don't want to see that. That is where we came last time. We certainly could. But in order for that to happen, I believe that Bitcoin is going to have to stay down too. And I just think Bitcoin comes back, bounces back to the area we are in now. So that's how I'm playing it, guys. Getting a notice on Bitcoin. Let me go take a look. Oh, nothing. Just a Bjorn crossing here, but it's actually crossing it down. Well, it's not. It's kind of going sideways. It was crossing. It was contracting to the downside, but it means price is kind of chilling out for now. All right, so you know what we're looking for. We've got Bitcoin here. Let's go back to the daily. We've got Bitcoin in the symmetrical triangle. If you were to look at this chart, you can't even tell that we went to WAR. I mean, it did nothing. Oh, but it crashed really hard. That no, it didn't. It came down to the bottom of the symmetrical triangle that it has been bouncing from. That's all it did. Came right back up to the top side of the symmetrical triangle. If you were to look at this chart and say, tell me where the bombs dropped, there's not a one of you who could do it just looking at the chart and price action, because there's nothing extreme that has happened here, right? So far it's been a big old nothing burger on price. However, traditional markets are not open yet, so we want to wait and see. You will get a glimpse of that this evening in about 6 hours or so when crude oil opens up, okay? That's going to be your first glimpse of the collateral damage of what's going on. And as the drama of the politics unfold all week, you'll see more. The fractal so far is intact. So far, the fractal's intact. I don't like it. I've given you my reasons I don't like it, and I think we're headed down. And this is the first time I've said that, because for months, long before we got in this area, I told you would expect to take out the high here, but I don't think we do now, although we could. If we do, it's going to be tomorrow. Okay? It's going to be tomorrow if we take this out. If not today. We have compared cycles. 2018, we did not take out that bounce high. 2022, we did take out the bounce high. This fractal looks its price action looks way more similar to 2022, except not quite as strong. we discussed how I believe once we do take out the low, that we come back like 2018 and form this range, right? Or stay in the range, continue the range that we're currently in. I believe we come back to that range versus in 2022, we did not come back to the range. We stayed down here and formed a new range. But in 2018, we came down, formed a range for about a week, and then ultimately came back to the bigger range. I think that's what we do here, something like this, and then back to this range. We hope. We looked at the historical stats from March and what we expect historically. And 100% of the time, regardless, I don't count today as the open, even though it's the first. I would look for tomorrow because traditional markets are open. If we open to the upside, 100% of the time, it has been a negative closing month. If we open to the downside tomorrow, 100% of the time, it has been a positive closing month. So whichever way we open to, look to go the other way for the rest of the month. Doesn't have to play that way, but as of now, it's a 100% stat. We looked at Fetch AI. We looked at our symmetrical triangle and how we are following it to a dang T, which means we expect lower prices within the next week or so to fall out of this descending triangle. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's all I got for you today. Nobody's putting any alts in chat, so you know how I'm planning it. We break out this week, calling for it. We looked at that stat. We are at 60% through this symmetrical triangle. 60%. 92% of the time, these break out between 65 and 70%, which is over the next, I think we said 4 days. 3 to 4 to 3.6 days. So Wednesday, Thursday, you have a 92% chance of breaking this thing between Wednesday and Thursday, by Thursday. 92% chance. If you go beyond that, you have an 87% chance of this being a fake out. So if, let's see, Thursday is right here. If you go beyond that, if you go to Friday, Saturday, you have a 87% chance of faking this thing out. 87% of the time, historically. Whichever way you go. 87%. If you break out before that, it is less likely to be a fake out. You could come and hang out here for a while. Or wherever you go. Come hang out here for a while. We go to the upside, you come hang out here for a while. So that's it, guys. That's it for me. We're back. We're trading. I am going to wait for markets to open before I start any trades. It's just, certainly wait for Trump to talk in a couple hours. So I'm sitting on my hands for now, but I plan to be back trading this thing no later than tomorrow. We will be live for the VIP Discord U.S. market open trading tomorrow, and we should expect some serious volatility tomorrow, guys. Have your fingers on the trading button tomorrow when we go live at 8:15 Central Standard Time. All right, guys, that's it. The Lord has blessed us today. It's a great day. Pray for those guys over there. Pray for our troops. I know not all of you are here in the U.S. Pray for the people that are suffering, the innocent lives lost. I know there's some civilians. It's a terrible situation, but we'll get through it.